When the battle chooses you, God fights for you. Is with you, and He will show Himself mighty. People may strip you of what you have, but so long as they have not stripped you of your life, there is still hope for you. Lost a lot of physical things, but so long as you are alive, you haven't lost everything. When the battle chooses you, God fights for you. Is with you, and He will show Himself mighty. People may strip you of what you have, but so long as they have not stripped you of your life, there is still hope for you.
What's that? Wait a minute. Play the thing one more.
Lost a lot of physical things, but so long as you are alive, you haven't lost everything. When the battle chooses you, God fights for you. Is with you, and He will show Himself mighty. People may strip you of what you have, but so long as they have not stripped you of your life, there is still hope for you. Lost a lot of physical things, but so long as you are alive, you haven't lost everything. When the battle chooses you, God fights for you. Is with you, and He will show Himself mighty. People may strip you of what you have, but so long as they have not stripped you of your life, there is still hope for you.
Welcome to another episode of Tuesdays with the Ambassador of Hope, live from the studios in Accra, Ghana. By the miracle of technology, the world has become one big global village. How are you today? I trust that you are very well. Listen, so long as there's breath in your nostrils and a heartbeat in your chest, there's still hope for you. Every day above the ground, it's a good day. So I bless God for your lives. And I hope that no matter what that this week has been, there is still hope for you. Listen, today is episode number 100. Can you imagine 100 days of God's help, of learning, of teaching, of education, of becoming better? We bless God for your lives and thank you for all the support that you've given to us. God richly bless you. I want you to take your device, pick up your device, and we're going to share, tag people, share to as many people as possible whilst I welcome a few people here today. Shall we do that? We are live on Facebook and then we are live on YouTube. So please subscribe, like us, click on the notifications, click on subscriptions so that every time there's something different or something new or even the regular thing, you will be reminded. There are so many things that vie for our attention. And so please, let's do that tonight. Welcome to Shepherd, Nanose, Kusimbwedum. Emma Ronnie, good evening to you, daughter. And Joyce, Folemo, Joyce, God bless you. Joe Bundy, you are here. Good evening, Michelle Ray. Good evening, Michelle Ray. Abigail, yes, you promised you are here at long last. Abigail, good to see you here. Don't go to sleep. I'll be watching you. Ofosu-Appiah. Woman of God, how are you? I trust that you did very well. God bless you. All the way from Delaware is Adelaide Techimensa, daughter. I hope you are doing well. My miracle lady, President, God richly bless you. Wow. So many of you here. Episode number 100. Can you imagine? Episode 100. It's been a long journey, but I've enjoyed every bit of it. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to walk this journey with you. I hope your life, your world has become a little bit better because I sit in this seat every Tuesday. Mami Nyamiche, yes, 100 good days of wisdom. I like that. Thank you. Thank you. Somebody says that he's proud to witness episode 100. All the way from Doncaster, the United Kingdom, the newly minted Mr. the Reverend Kingsley Richard Avaga. Happy wedding to you. God bless you. All the way from the Republic of Kaswa, somewhere near the Atlantic Ocean. Collins Obing, God bless you. Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's do that. Where are our YouTube crowd? Let's see who we've got here. Our YouTube crowd, you are here. Oh, wow. All over the place. Barbara Entry, praise the Lord to you. God bless you. Josie Piri, how are you? I hope you are doing very well. How the day? You and the boys are doing well. God bless you. So good to have your Priska daughter. God bless you. Hello, Eunice. God richly bless you. Adam, thank you so much. Oh, my one and only billionaire watching live from Mississippi. God bless you, Akosi. Daniel Soldier, I hope you are doing very well. Thank you. Let's share. We're going to get into business. I told you that today I'm going to take questions from you. I'm going to take feedback from you. We're going to have an interaction today. You know, for the past few episodes, we've been doing this one thing. We started by talking about one thing, very, very, very important. And we started by saying that success is never a byproduct of chance. You don't stumble into success. You don't succeed by accident. You don't even succeed by default. Success has no factory settings. So you have to put some things in. We talked about the need for wisdom, the need for association, and then you have to put in effort and some discipline so that you can become very, very, very successful in this life. And we began to deal with one thing, your one thing. The Apostle Paul said that I focus all my energies, all my attention on this one thing. And Paul said that whatever I've obtained, they are behind me. I celebrate my victories. I applaud my victories. But there's something ahead of me. There may be 10 things, 40 things, but there's something ahead of me that I want to focus at. I want to put my attention there. And so focus. And so we started by talking about routine, the power of routine, how it's not what you do once that brings you success, but what you continually do. So we talked about routine. That is a prescribed course, an action that you follow regularly, a fixed regimen, a habitual procedure, because routine has power. It's very, very important. We talked about some 3 things that you must have: clearly defined daily disciplines. Then we talked about you have to pay the price. Every good thing comes with a price, my friend. Nothing in this life that is good and abiding and successful comes at bargain prices. You've got to put in the effort. Very important. Then you've got to focus on your strengths. So we talked about that, and on the second one after that, let's see some of the things that we picked up here in episode 96. We talked about, excuse me, let me just get down quickly. We talked about how you can discover the one thing, the part 2. And I gave you a few things, like you must not let things distract you. You know, the disappointment, the reversal, the things that went wrong. So I gave you 3 things to help you. That number 1, you have to discover what you have to say no to. Many times your breakthrough is not only the things that you say yes to, but in fact, most of the times it is what you learn to say no to. You must also always understand that. When you get the revelation for your life, you must know who to say no to. Not everything is yours. You see, when you lack focus, everything becomes attractive. Then we say you must find the place of your passion. Then we talked about find the place of your fulfillment. Then I gave you a few things like you must start living right now, get moving immediately. You know, then prioritize important things. Then you must learn to do all those things. So that was for episode number 96. Then we came to episode number 97. What do we say here? Let's see if I can catch a little bit. Yes, episode number 97 right here. We talked about how you can discover your one thing, how you can discover your one thing. And it says some few things that it's not about your position. You know, you can have a position, but you are far bigger. Your one thing is far bigger than just a position. Don't stop there. And then finding discovering your one thing is not necessarily easy. If being a champion was easy, everybody would be one. So you have to also start, this is my favorite. This is my favorite. You have to start looking at yourself with a new honesty. Many of you have lied to yourself all day, and you have decided to believe your lies. Never believe the advertisement about you. Don't live on that river in Egypt. Denial. Don't live in denial. No. Face yourself. Ask yourself, You did not get to your destination by accident. How did you get there? It's very important that you get that. So we went through all that. But today, I just want to face you. We just want to talk. And let's see if you have any questions. If you have any questions, we can get in there. What did I say in episode number 98? What is in there? I'm going to fill your questions, so let them roll. Episode number 90, we talked about doing your one thing, how you can do your one thing. And I talked to you about the city slickers, how Mitch said that there's one thing that brings success. The guy thought it was his feeling and said, no, you've got to discover your one thing. Very, very, very important. And we talked about a few things. Number one, you must learn to use your talent. Every talent that God gave to you is for you to eat from it and also to be a blessing to the world. That thing is your aptitude. It comes to you naturally. It's the natural ability to do something. Don't discount it. Work on it. Hone it. Maximize it. Brand it. Eat from it. Do something. Because there's unlimited potential in every seed. Your talent is the seed that God has placed in you. Anytime you pick a seed, there's a tree in the seed. Anytime you see a tree, there's a forest in the tree. You've got to do that. It's very important. And number two, I said you must work hard with it. Hard work. Nobody drowned in their sweat, my friend. I know about working smart. I like to work smart, but listen, there's something called hard work. In this life, nothing works until you do. It's very, very important. Work is not a curse. In fact, work was prescribed even before the fall. God is a hard worker. We looked at that. Then number three, we said protect it. Protect your one thing. Whatever you do, listen, remember that your destiny is tied to your one thing. So don't let the vultures of this world just destroy your thing and take it and steal it. And I said, get others involved. Partnership, strategic partnership is very, very important. Your mentors, they will counsel you. They will open doors for you. They will transfer greatness to you. And then number four, invest. Invest in your one thing. That is a seed. Then number five, take action. Take action. That is episode number 98. Which one? Then, of course, we continued with 99, the same thing. So today, here we are, episode number 100, episode number 100. So please let your questions come. I'm waiting for you. Other than that, I am going to sleep in a hurry. Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's do that. Let me see my Facebook, my YouTube crowd who is there in the house. It's either that I'm a very, very good teacher or you are lousy students. That's why you're not bringing back. And after this, please don't call me privately. I don't do private sessions or private counseling. Let's do that. What have we got here? We see a whole lot of people who has got some questions here. Yes. Thank you, Louisa. Thank you. Thank you. 100 episodes we are celebrating today. We thank God. We thank God. We thank God. I want to see your questions. Put them in here. And then let's see what will happen out of there. We are checking everything and tag as many people as possible. I'm waiting for your questions. Let them come. If they don't come in 3 minutes, it's a little bit late here. I'll go to bed with joy. So let's do that. I'm waiting. God bless you, Charles from Delaware. Koju, I hope you are doing very well. All the way from Phoenix, Arizona. Abner B. Cool. Abner, how are you? Hey, Reverend Kwabena Jeff, today is your birthday, man of God. I join all your Tuesday family to say happy birthday to you. I know it's late, but I'm sure you had a blast. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your good life. We bless God for your life. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Who have we got here? Please, 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 let's go. I'm waiting for you. I'm waiting for you. Hello, B. How are you? I hope you are doing very well. Hey, on the platform again tonight is my own high priest, the most Reverend Sammy Pearson Opoku Echampon. Today is your 16th birthday. Pastor Sam, God bless you. You and I had a blast today. Pastor Sammy and I and Pastor Albert, we had the boys together today, the birthday boys. I celebrated them with two, never mind. But God bless you. Happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday. God bless you. I'm so happy to see all of you. Daniel Aivo says, please share the broadcast. We are here. I'm waiting for your questions. I'm waiting for your questions. Nancy, hi, how are you doing? Good evening to you all the way from Royal Victoria in the Docklands. God bless you. Suzanne, how are you? Good to see you right here. Yes, Goda, good evening, ANC fam. Yes, I say good evening to you too. All the way from the land of 10,000 lakes, Pastor Richard Gospel, God bless you so much. Yes, Pastor Sam Funke says happy birthday to you. They can't wait to see you at ISI. And you take your usual fun. Joseph Kwesi Bechi, good evening to you, Joseph. God richly bless you. Any questions here other than that? We'll get into other matters, then I'll step out of your way. I hope you've learned so many things. You tell me some of the things that you learned. Put them in here. Put them in here. Just let me know some of the things. Maybe one thing that blessed you, a statement, a point, something. We want to talk about that. We want to see what is there. So come on. Well, here's a question that comes up. It says, Papa, what happens if I've concentrated on my one thing, but it looks like I'm not getting any results? That is a very powerful question. We all struggle with that. One of the things that you've got to understand in this life is that there's something called process. Not everything brings success or manifestation instantly. You know, where I come from, there are some things that are called cash crops. And there are some things that are crops that grow very quickly. Like tomatoes, it doesn't take forever. But you plant something like cocoa, that brings a lot of income to a nation. Cocoa, I think, the hybrid takes 3 or 5 years or something. You know, used to be so much, but they've done it into a hybrid. And it yields more. So what I would suggest is that look at the terrain. Look at where you are. Whatever you have, your one thing, your talent, whatever you are, is it something that is in demand? So when I begin to talk to you about business things, which I'll come in one of my next episodes, look at the terrain. Do people need what you have? Yes, they might need it. Do they want it in the way that you want it? Do you have to tweak it? Do you have to turn it around? Do you have to get into partnership? You have to consider all of these things. You know, if you become tunnel vision, you may not be able to break through with what you have. The thing is there, it's your one thing. But that doesn't mean that you should not look at other things about how to bring the thing into manifestation. It's very important that you get that. I have a question here. It says that, okay, what do you do when you have found your one thing but doesn't yield any great income? Well, you found your one thing. You remember I told you that your one thing is your dominant thing, but around it are other things that the Lord has given to you. So let's say you are a seamstress. That is your one thing, but it's not yielding a lot of results. There's multiple streams of income. That is your dominant thing. But there are other things that you can do to bring them in. You know, you can get into partnerships. You can do this. You can do that. So you have to diversify a little bit, because sometimes your one thing that you are very, very good at may not be in demand at a present time. May not be, your quality may not have come to the place where it may elicit a lot of income. You have to push at it, but you have to look at other things and get in there. I hope it did you very well. Thank you. Princess Mayma, God bless you. Happy birthday to you. I'm still in the birthday mood. Nana Credo Brefo, all the way from Toronto, Canada. God bless you. Episode number 100. Bring me your questions. I'm waiting. Okay. Well, somebody asked me, Papa, how do you reconcile focusing on your one thing with what Paul said we are to become all things to all men in 1 Corinthians 9:22. Well, 1 Corinthians, let me quickly read it to you, because it's a context. It's a context. Paul was not dealing with like your one thing or that kind of thing, but let me give you 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 22. Paul was talking about self-denial and all the things that had to do with his ministry. And in verse number 22, he said, to the weak I became as weak, that I may win the weak, and I become all things to all men, that I may by all means say some. In fact, this had nothing to do with focus, the one thing that I'm talking about. Paul was talking about ministry, about identifying with people. This is a totally different thing from your focus. Paul says that if I went to a place where they spoke Latin and I could speak Latin, I'll speak the Latin. If I went to a place where they were having a party and it's not sinful, I'll party with them. If I go to a place where they are eating and I may not even like the taste of the food, but because I can win somebody, I will join and eat the food so that I can become all things unto all men. It doesn't mean that I join people to sin. It doesn't mean that I join people to do what is illegal or inappropriate, but I position myself in such a way that people can identify with me and I can identify with them, that through that I can bring them to Christ. So that is what it means. I hope I haven't become long-winded in theology and everything, but that is the deal. Thank you very much. Yes. Somebody says that, well, Miriam, my sister Miriam, God richly bless you. In a couple of days, you're going to hit the big thing. We are coming for a party, so get yourselves ready. We are storming the Cove Town. Nana, God bless you. We are coming in our numbers. Me alone, I'm coming in my numbers. But Adam says that, Daddy, what are the mistakes a mentee shouldn't do? What are the mistakes a mentee shouldn't do? Number one, do not take your mentor for granted. Don't take your mentor for granted. Number two, don't get into a mentoring-mentee situation just to go and take advantage. Because I realize that, I think I've taught this before, that sometimes mentees, they make this mistake to think that the mentors are ignorant, they are stupid, and they try to do things on their blind side just to use them. You don't do that. If they were stupid, they will not be your mentor. Never forget that. The fact that they haven't said it does not mean they don't know it. So please do not go to take advantage of them. And then you must also be very careful about private conversations. Because a lot of times, mentors and teachers and fathers, whatever designation you give to them, they hold back a lot because sometimes mentees talk too much. There's a time to talk. Don't drop names. Don't just refer to them and I went to see him and we all ate together from the same bowl and I even wore his shirt. No, you don't do that. You have to be discreet. You have to know what the mentor likes and what he doesn't like and learn. Put yourself in a situation where you went to learn. Very important. I hope it was a blessing to you. Anybody? Okay, my billionaire says, how do you know you are partnering with the right person and they share and understand your one thing? It's a process. That is where communication comes in, Kwesi. You have to get to know somebody a little bit, know what they are bringing to the table, and especially you also have to do, I hate to use this word, like a little background search. Not that you are spying on the person, but you have to know the person's resume or their pedigree, where they are coming from, what they are bringing to the table, communication, openness, and talk, communicate. Once upon a time, I grew up in a society where people will tell you, come and let's work. And that becomes partnership. And then things fall apart. Today, come and let's work is not there anymore. You have to verify. You know, I remember many years ago when we had all these nuclear weapon things between Russia and America, United States, the Soviet Union, America, and they did this the SALT, Strategic Arms Limitation Treaty, you know, where they were verifying things. And when Gorbachev came, he was talking to Reagan and he said, you know, trust us, we've destroyed our weapons. And Reagan said, we trust you, but we'll still verify. So there are some things you trust, but you still verify. It doesn't make you stupid. So you've got to open your eyes. In this life, you know, trust me, I'm a doctor, doesn't always work. I have to see you at work. I have to see your resume before we get into that business. I hope it helps a little bit. I'm waiting for your questions. Let's do that. Anybody with a question here? Let's see what's coming up. Am I getting anybody bringing a question here? Rita, God bless you so much. Rita, God bless you. We miss all of you, Eunice, my preaching sultan. God bless you this evening. Oh, man. Well, there's another question here. How do you keep your busy schedule without lacking in one or the other? I hope it was not a direct question to me, Yvonne. Yeah, but it can easily apply to my life. And if you want to know, the truth of the matter is that if you're going to keep a busy schedule without lacking in one or the other, you've got to have balance. You've got to have balance in life. No matter who you are, no matter how favored you are, I don't care whether you are so anointed that you glow in the dark. You do not have 25 hours a day. And no matter how bad you are, how terrible you are, how disfavored you may be, God does not shortchange you with 23 hours a day. Everybody has 24 hours a day. It is what you do, how you manage it. Because one of the greatest things that God gave to us from the Garden of Eden, Adam's mandate, was a management mandate. You need to manage the times that God has given to you. That is why I told you that you must know the things to say no to. You can't do everything at the same time. You can't do 40 things at the same time. So for me, I am a very balanced human being. And make sure that I do not overcompensate for something else. And so I don't get myself too busy with what I'm not called to do, because there's absolutely no point in climbing up a ladder. It may look like a golden ladder, a silver ladder, and get to the top only to discover that it's leaning against the wrong wall. That is absolutely no point. So you've got to balance yourself. You've got to put aside things that really are not important in your life. You see, the higher you go in life, listen to this carefully, the higher you go in life, the less things you must give yourself to. The higher you go in life, the less things you must give your life to. You must always understand that. You cannot do 40 things at the same time. You are not God. It's important that you get that. Here comes another question. How do you handle disappointment from a mentor who shows you one thing in your presence but says negative things behind your back? Number one, forgive him or her. Number two, walk away. They have mentored you in that, in human being university, that sometimes some mentors can be tormentors. It could be their personal weakness. And if you realize that, please, forgive them. For me, the forgiveness is very important. And walk away. Don't create a drama. Don't write a book. Just walk away quietly and with a lot of respect. Very important that you get that. So let's go ahead. The question comes again. How do you handle post-traumatic experiences so they don't pop back in your present? Please see a counselor. See a counselor, let them counsel you on that. Once it gets into all these interesting post-traumatic experiences and things, I am begging you, let's do that. Hey, I'm still waiting for you. Okay, my YouTube crowd, here am I. It says that, Papa, since you mentioned it, when and how you should leave partnership, and how do you, okay, when and how should you leave partnership, and how do you know mentoring is over with them? Okay. That is a very powerful thing. When should you leave a partnership? And how do you know mentoring is over with a mentor? I think you get to a stage in your life where when you begin to see that maybe with all humility, in a particular area that that person is mentoring you, you become more adept in that thing more than the mentor, you can leave the relationship. Now, leaving the relationship doesn't mean that it has to be acrimonious. You just minimize things, and then you must be on your way. You can still have a relationship with the person. You can still talk to the person. You can still, but maybe if you used to meet on a formal basis and things and realize that what is given to you, you've gone beyond that. That is the area. Always make sure that there's respect. Always make sure that it doesn't feel like you've got to that place where that person is beneath you. You don't have to get to that point where you feel like you make the person feel like they've given you everything. Once you got it, you just dump them. Sometimes some mentors can feel that way. But it is what it is. There comes a time that the mentoring situation has to change. For me, I think my happiest times is when I've mentored somebody and he has come up to my level. Well, like Jesus said, I don't call you servants anymore, but I call you friends. You know, it comes to that place. For me, that is one quality of leadership. Unfortunately, there are some cultures that once you are a son, you will die a son. Even if you become as big as a deputy God, they will still make sure, they will still refer to you, oh, he is my son. Even when you are bigger than them in one way or the other, he is my son. All of these cultural nonsenses, you know, you have to swallow them and then move up on your way. Very important. Yes. I have a question. They say, what do I do with a mentor who always do things to get the devil out of me instead of the best out of me? Walk away, Daniel. Daniel, walk away. Because you have to understand that a mentor-mentee relationship is not a slave master, a slave relationship. You walked in with your own volition, you can walk out on your own volition. But again, I want to say that make sure that it is not acrimonious. Make sure that sometimes it's not your fault. Sometimes it may not be your fault, it may be the mentor's fault where they want to hold you down like you are this forever, and yet they are not bringing the best out of you. There are some mentors, like I told you, sometimes I say it in a funny way, that they become tormentors. But when a mentor begins to get the worst out of you, you and I know, you don't need a PhD to find out that, no, you don't need to walk that path. You need to you need to walk away. You really need to. You have to put your foot down and then walk away quietly. Denzel, how are you doing in Missouri? It's good to have you here. Thank you. Wahima says that I love the forgive and walk away part. Yes, it's true. Just forgive. I'd say forgiveness a lot because let me tell you something. Maybe I need to speak to somebody on the area of forgiveness because a lot of times people have a lot of issues with this thing called forgiveness. Let me tell you something. Forgiving somebody is not for the person's sake. It is for your sake. Never forget that. Many times we refuse to forgive because there's a little hint of pride in us or a little hint of I must get even in us. And we feel that, why am I letting the person go after all the things that he or she has done to me? Listen, God says, let it go for your sake and not for the person's sake. Because anytime you hold somebody in unforgiveness, you and that person are both in one prison. Never forget that. Unforgiveness opens the door to resentment, to bitterness, to anger, and then it warps your understanding. Unforgiveness can put 30 years on your age. You can be 21 and you look like 51, all because of this thing called unforgiveness. I've told you many times that I've seen the face of bitterness before. I've encountered this with my own eyes and I didn't like it. Let it go. Listen, when you forgive somebody, no matter what they have done, you haven't lost anything. You have gained your sanity. There's no blessing that is bigger than knowing that, yes, they hurt me. Yes, they did things to me, but you can look at them and say, you know what? I forgive. Sometimes it's hard immediately, but let it be a process until you get there. Anytime you think about that person and you're still bitter and angry, you have not forgiven. And one of the quickest ways and the easiest way that will help you to forgive is to seek your own success. Because when you have been blessed and you are successful, it is very easy to forgive. Never forget that. Okay. Michelle says that I learned that if you don't use your one thing, you can lose it. But that what if you are trying to use it, but do not have the platform or tools to use or explore your one thing? I believe that eventually it will come. I think I answered it at the beginning, that you have to look around. You have to look around. You have to look around. God has given your middle talent is your biggest one thing. But around it, there are other things. And sometimes you may go on a trajectory, touching other things, but eventually it will come back. Sometimes the door that God will use to take you to your next level may not be right in front of you. Joseph, it had been seen about him. He had dreams that he was going to have preeminence over his brothers, that his father and his mother, his brothers, they will all bow down to him. He thought it was going to happen immediately in Canaan. But later he didn't know that it was going to happen through a hole in the ground that his brothers were going to put him in. And that somebody will pick him up from the hole and sell him as a first-class slave to the Ishmaelites. They will sell him up a second-class slave to the Gibeonites. And he will end up as a third-class slave to the Egyptians in the house of Potiphar. He went through a whole lot of, even into jail. But after that, he went there. So sometimes our path is not always straight. You go through things, but that talent will never die. It will always be there, and it will bring you something. God bless you. Raymond says that, Daddy, how do you mentor somebody who has missed their one thing? And you as the mentor know it, but the mentee doesn't. That is a big one. You have to be very honest with your mentee, because one of the determinations of a mentor-mentee relationship is honesty. You have to find a way to tell the person. And you and I know that the truth hurts. The truth normally is resisted. But you have to find a way to let them know that they have missed this thing. And that is why you are their mentor. A mentor must be able to be bold enough, but gracious enough, and find good words enough to shift that mentee back to where they are going. Other than that, you cannot help the person. Because help doesn't go where it's needed. Help goes where it's wanted. So if they don't want the help, you can help it. Don't forget that soap does not clean. Soap by itself, lying down, soap that you have to use the soap. So your wisdom and everything that would help the person until they want to use it. I hope it really helps. So if the mentee doesn't see it, please make sure they see it. Let's go ahead. Anybody with questions? I see powerful people there. Dr. Love, I'm waiting for your question. Come on, let it flow. Let's go. Anybody? I'm waiting for you. Before we go, we have I just have about some 15 minutes more, and then I'll be on my merry way. So let it flow. I don't know if did I miss anybody? I miss anybody? Okay. Denzel wrote a very powerful article. If you are his friend, just go check it out. He said 3 things I have learned out of these episodes. Number 1, that even carcasses gather crowds. I think that thing really ministered to you, Denzel. Yeah, Jesus said that where the carcass is, the vultures will gather. That's what he said in Matthew chapter 24. It's very important, which means not every crowd is a good crowd. Number 2, no one celebrates process. They celebrate success. It's very true. Sometimes, let me tell you, some of these young people, you put some things on social media and you sit back and you are waiting for people to clap for you. And nobody is clapping, then you clap for your own self. And then, listen, nobody celebrates process. Keep your head down and do your one thing. Keep your head down and do your process. Many times when you go to a factory, the assembly line doesn't look really pretty. It's only the finished product that looks really pretty. So put your head down. Sometimes, listen, work in obscurity so that God will promote you into popularity. Never forget that. Many times God will hide you. Let God hide you. The process must be hidden. Keep quiet. 7 days, he told the children of Israel, march around your Jericho. Jericho, the walls didn't come down on lap number 1 or lap number 2 or 5. It was on the 7th day. So keep moving. Do your process. Quiet. Go through your thing. Number 3, focus is a responsibility, and you must be deliberate about it. Yes, it's a responsibility. Do not be sidetracked easily. Not everything shiny is expensive. Never forget that. So let's go ahead. Please keep sending your questions. All right, my doc says that. Oh no, don't say that, doc. I'm not going to read that, doc. I'm not going to read that. I'm not going to read that. Honestly, I'm not. Dr. Meno, I don't like that. I don't like it. Please, if you read it, pretend you haven't seen it. Dr. Meno is just pulling my feet. Let's go ahead. Anybody who's got a question here? All right. Kiva says that how do you motivate or direct a person who that waits for perfect time or direction from God to make a move or start their one thing? Well, if they are waiting for the perfect time from God, then it's from God. But you know, there are some people that are in perpetual inertia. I think I've taught it here. There are people who always want their ducks to be in a row. They want everything to be perfect. Let me read you a scripture in Ecclesiastes chapter number 11. Let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter number 11. Let me read it. Because a lot of people make mistakes, you know. I want to read it from the New Living Translation. It says, verse number 4, Ecclesiastes chapter 11, verse number 4. Farmers who wait for perfect weather never plant. If they watch every cloud, they never harvest. Just as you cannot understand the path of the wind or the mystery of a tiny baby growing up in its mother's womb, so you cannot understand the activity of God who does all things. Listen to verse 6. Plant your seed in the morning and keep busy all afternoon, for you do not know if profit will come from one activity or another, or maybe both. What he's saying is that take risk, take opportunities as they come. You cannot wait forever. You cannot be in perpetual. There are people, you see, the difference between excellence and perfection is this. Excellence is a relentless pursuit to get it right. Perfection is a mindless pursuit that will never get it right. Perfection will wear you down. It will trouble other people. It's mindless. You can't get there. But excellence is a relentless pursuit towards getting better and better and better. In the same way, you cannot always have it 100% correct before you start everything. Of course, we wait on God. Of course, we see it, but it's very important that you move. You want to ask a question that, please kindly digress on, on criticism, both destructive and constructive. Well, criticism is criticism. When somebody has something to say about your very best efforts, some are fair, a lot of them may be unfair in your life. As human beings, because of influence, because of acceptance, because of whatever the need for approval in all our lives, it happens. When we get criticized, it cuts us. But there comes a time that you need criticism. The most important thing behind every criticism is motive. Never forget that. Motive. 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 Never forget motive. Never forget that. Motive. What is the motive behind the criticism? And when you check it and you realize that the motive is just to cut you down for the sake of it, to bring you down, to let you feel less than your worth, move on. Let it run off your back like water off a duck's back. It's not always easy, but with time, you'll be able to get it. You don't have to fight back. You don't have, because if you slap a pig, your hands will get dirty. You don't have to fight back all the time. There are times that you just ignore it. But if the criticism is true and it is fair, take it as a compliment. Correct the things in your life and then move on. Motive, many times, is just to demoralize you, to denigrate you, to pull you down. in that area, remove yourself from that and move on. You don't have to fight back. You don't have to have a slanging match. You don't have to have a shading match. Just take it as a blessing and move on. Good evening, Daddy. If you have multiple one things, Lord have mercy. How can you determine which specific one to prioritize and to focus on? I think at the end of the day, you will have a dominant one, definitely. That's why I told you that sometimes multi-talented people, if you're not very careful, you may never be able to break through because you're able to do a lot of things okay. But there will always be, I remember I told you about those three things, in the middle, there will always be one great one that will come to you. It may not be the easiest, but that may be it. And so as you work with the other things, one thing will surely stand up for you. So you just have to keep moving. You just have to keep pressing it. And I hope it will happen for you. Okay. Who have I got here? Thank you. Lulu says that I've learned that you have to let your pain be a manuscript so that you can read it and use it to triumph. It's true. Listen, in this life, there's something that is an equal opportunity employer. It is called pain. And let me tell you something, my friend. You cannot always medicate your pain away. Pain is a megaphone that speaks into a stubborn heart. Pain can wake you up from slumber. Pain is something that separates the strong from the weak. Even our Lord and Savior, the perfect, quintessential man, he went through pain. He showed his scars. Let me tell you, you cannot escape pain and be great. Sometimes the difference between the great and the ordinary is how much pain they are willing to handle. I tell people all the time, young preacher, let me tell you something. When you see people who have a lot of notoriety, they are being celebrated, they have great churches, and they work on great platforms, they have a lot of pain. I kid you not, they have a lot of pain. But it's only that we do not advertise the pain and have a Broadway production of the pain. You will never go beyond the threshold of the pain you are willing to handle and go through. Not self-inflicted pain, but pain that comes with your assignment. It happens all the time. Man of God, Francis Dodu, I salute you. I hope you are doing very well. He says, Papa, how do you overcome repeated challenges that never pushes you forward in ministry, but is celebrated as normal sequence? You know, if the thing once is a happenstance, twice coincidence, but after 3 times, there's something that you need to check. And I say this to a lot of people, and I hope you don't get me wrong. Don't make peace with recycle of defeat. Don't make peace with it. Because if you make peace with it, you begin to give it nice, charismatic names. It's normal. That's how my family is. As for me, I was born like that. No. You have to come to it. When you know on your inside that this is not what I am supposed to be doing, or this is not where I'm supposed to be, don't accept it as normal. Because you'll never be able to change anything that you consider normal. I'm going to say it again. You'll never be able to change anything that you consider normal. You must get angry with it. You must fight it. That is why you need people in your life, mentors, fathers, whatever, who will help you, hold your hand and push you through that. Listen, in this life, normal must not be normal for you. I hope I made sense. Normal must not be normal for you. You are more than normal. And so don't look at some of the things that are happening in ministry and then you say as no. You know on your inside that something is pulling you higher. You know on your inside that there's nothing more frustrating than knowing that you are wired for something and not finding the expression. That on the inside of you have this 18-wheeler articulated truck engine on your inside, and yet all you have is a little VW body. It's very frustrating. You need to determine to break free out of that. You need to make up your mind to know, I am not settling for this. I am pushing myself out of that. God richly bless you. Thank you. Man of God, I hope it is okay. Why says, Papa, please, must you be led to give every time? Not necessarily. You know, charismatics, we have all kinds of terms. I'm being led, I can't feel the leading, I can't blah, blah. There are sometimes that you get this strong leading by the Spirit to give. But there's times that as a human being, giving is a natural part of your life. Never forget that. Giving is a natural part of your life. In fact, all of us are givers by default. Let me take it back. All of us are potential givers because everything that God controls must give. And when I talk about giving, it's not just money. Maybe just your smile, your phone call, your text. How are you? Something, doing something. They are all giving. We were born really to give because anything that holds back, when something is kept, that thing dies, as it were. So we give. And so we must be led. Sometimes you can get into a situation. I'm a church person. I've spent most of my life around the church, and I'm sure that is my sentence for a long time. And I realize that sometimes, excuse me, as preachers, as whatever, sometimes people put pressure on you, manipulate you, and give and that kind of thing. And it's a very tough prospect. It's a very, very tough prospect. It's a wrong prospect. It's not very good. It's not very godly. And when you find yourself in that situation, you don't have to. You don't have to be guilt-tripped into giving. You don't have to be manipulated to be giving. So long as they don't put their money in your pocket to pick your pocket, and keep your money in your pocket. But when you are led by God to give, please give. Thank you, Apostle Francis. Thank you. I honor you so much. God bless you. And what have I got here? Let's see. I have about 7 minutes and I am done. 7 minutes, I'm done. And I'm going to pray for you. And then we're going to call it a day. I hope you've learned something today. Hey, Reverend Eric, God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. Okay, Nicholas Opuni says that, hey, Papa, based on the first episode of your one thing, what is the difference between inspiration and motivation? I think they pretty much, inspiration, I think, is really internal. You are inspired, but motivation comes to push you forward. Inspiration is the thing that comes into you. Motivation is the thing that comes to push you forward. You can have inspiration, but if you are not motivated to move forward, your inspiration can make you aspire. You'll be inspired, but you aspire because you are not motivated to move forward. And motivation, the greatest form of motivation is self-motivation. You find that in Proverbs chapter 6, go to the ant, you sluggard, consider his ways and be wise. Has no guide, no rule, no overseer, but prepares his food in the summer. It's self-motivated. You don't wait for somebody to motivate you. Get up and do something. Move. Make a move. It's very important. All right. Anybody? What have you learned? Well, okay. Okay, the saying goes that opportunity comes by once. Raymond, the saying opportunity comes only by once sounds very nice, but it's never true. In life, there are a series of opportunities. You know, people say God is the God of the second chance. I don't believe that. He's the God of another chance. Because sometimes, if he says God of the second chance, after the second, you are finished. He's the God of another chance. He gives chances. It may not always be the same thing. It may not always be along the same lines. But you and I serve a God that is more merciful than human beings. He gives us chances. He gives us opportunities. It may be that you may miss a huge opportunity, but the God that you serve is a good father. If you have a child, if you have a son, a daughter, and you are doing something with them and they miss that opportunity, you are not going to say, because of this, I've cut you off forever. And Jesus said, we who are evil, that is, we are less good, know how to give good things to our children. Our Heavenly Father is not like that. We have had opportunity not only once. All this reggae music, I think you've listened to too many reggae music. Raymond, I think you need to subject yourself to some deliverance. Opportunity, yes, opportunities happen. I know they do. But are you a failure when you miss your one thing? No, I believe that God will give you sequences. I believe that God gives chances. He gave me chances, and I know you. Sometimes we like to play God. That once you have missed this, it is forever over for you. I don't believe that is the kind of God that you and I serve. Our God is bigger in magnanimity. Our God is bigger in his heart than our little flawed mentality as humans. That is my personal belief. If you disagree with me, you go to heaven and realize that I was right all the time. Oh, Yvonne, don't do that to me. All right. Yvonne says that, Papa, you do most of your work with so much ease of excellence. What is your advice to young ones that want to emulate you on excellence? Number one, excellence is not an event. Excellence, number 1, is a lifestyle. Number 2 is a law. Number 3 is a legacy. I determined a long time ago, I think it was part of my DNA, that I like my things to be in a particular way. And when I got saved, and then, of course, I came into leadership, Christian leadership, I determined that if I am serving the God of this world, I mean, not Satan, the God of, but if I'm serving our Heavenly Father, then everything that I do for him must be done very well, excellently. Mark 7:37, they saw all things, they said, he has done all things excellently. And so I determined to do it, and it became part of my life. When I came into Atlanta in the year 2000 to start church, I also looked at it as, like Raymond said, it was my new opportunity. And I determined to write things that I didn't get right in the former lifetime. And one of them was my observation in my culture about lack of excellence and how we parade mediocrity as the best. I determined to change the narrative. I realized that sometimes some people in my culture, they go to church for God knows how many hours, and some of them go home and they lose their marriages. And people, so I determined that I will not go beyond 2 hours. I will not do this. So praise and worship is this, and you know, and I stuck with it. Did I get feedback? Oh yes, I had letters. Why are we not singing Ghana songs? Why are we not singing these songs? Why are we not dancing? Why are we not doing this? Did I answer? No. One time I had to tell somebody, I can give you the names of addresses of where you can go and do that, but here, you don't do it here. And gradually it stuck. And I made up my mind. It's a mindset that this is how I want to do my thing. And gradually it became second nature. I call it predictive excellence. You've got to determine to do it. I refuse to cut corners. People who know me know it. I refuse to cut corners. I refuse to go to places late because I am a big man. No, it doesn't happen. Last Sunday I came to church right here. You know, I showed up, and somebody actually mentioned it, that they were really surprised because I showed up before everybody in this place, in Kerry's house in Accra, Ghana. And it's like people walked in like, hey, he's here already. Yes, I'm here already, ready to roll. And I had to move people on. Hey, get the praise and worship started. I said, get it started. How long is praise and worship? They took finish, and exactly I pick up my microphone and I started working. I closed on time and I'm gone. Would I stop it? No. After I'm gone, would they get back there? That's their business. But I like to leave my fingerprint and my DNA on people. So I hope I haven't talked too much. Thank you very much. Okay, let me find one more thing, then we are gone. Yes, Nicholas, you really added this. I like that very much. It says that, yeah, you are so true, Papa. We all wake up, and when we don't feel inspired, but we should still show. Yes, many times when you don't feel inspired, listen, show up, get up. Don't let your body dictate to you. You dictate to your body. Carry yourself and move on. That is where greatness happens. For those who have sat at my feet many times, I tell them that the day you don't feel like going to church, get up and go to church. Don't let your body dictate. Don't let your body tell. As I sit right here, this body is telling me sleep. No, you are not sleeping. You know, in Proverbs chapter 6, when we talk about go to the ant, you sluggard, just before that, it says that do not give sleep to your eyes. That sometimes you have to tell your eyes, I have some things to do. I'm not saying you should have sleep deprivation, but when there are some things to do, brother, sister, you've got to fight that thing. Okay. Listen, please don't forget July 19th to the 23rd, ISI 2023. ISI 2023. Please do not miss it. We have our brand new app. If you go to Advanced Life on Google Play Store, you go to Apple Store, download our brand new app. There are a whole lot of new things that are there. Please go there to register. Go there to register for ISI. You can do it online. You can come in person, but the best is in person. Mighty assemblage of some of the best leaders in town. Dr. Sam Chan is coming. Dr. Otabel is there. Dr. Courtney Macbeth is there. The great woman Yana Akon is there. And then, of course, Mommy and I will be hosting. Then on Saturday morning, Youth on Fire. Amazing. Then on Saturday evening, worship with Nathaniel Bassey and others. How better can it get than this? This is going to be a treat. You miss this one, I don't know where you pass to go to heaven. But let's do it. I hope you have been blessed. It's almost here. Please don't miss it. Please go there, right there. They put the link in there on YouTube. I beg your pardon. Advanced life, please get. It's going to be awesome. And listen, let me tell you something. Can I give you a hint? You know, I love you so much. Let me give you this hint. You know, people have been talking to me about the opening nights, the Wednesday nights. My God, I am loaded for you. You don't. It will be okay online, but it's even better when you show up. It's called Breaking Points. If you're a leader in any capacity, you need to come and listen to this one. Breaking Points. You do not want to miss that. I've heard it so many times in my ears. I can't wait. I feel like bursting loose. But listen, all that being said, thank you so much for coming alongside with me to episode number 100. Next week, we'll announce a new one or whatever. I might take a little vacation. How about that? Let's vote whether I take a 1 week vacation or something. No, I'm just kidding. But listen, I look forward to seeing you again next week. All that remains for me to say is that God bless you. I want to thank my media team right here in Accra, Ghana, from our Keris House Studios, Ambassador of Hope all over the place. Thank you for making this journey worthwhile. Listen, I didn't only come to teach, I also came to learn. Your questions, your support, the little things that you send here and there, your financial support towards our projects here. Thank you very, very much, and I'll see you when I see you. So all that remains for me to say is have a very good evening. Sleep well. The Lord God Almighty keep you until we meet again. In the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Bye-bye for now.